in the words of Nelson Mandela, he said that education is the powerful tool that can be used to change the world. Now, looking at the African education system, many would argue that it suffers from low quality teaching, poor quality teaching, lack of infrastructure and material. The question then is, does the education system in Africa need a reform? Now, joining me now to discuss about this issue is the co-founder of Africa is Home, Platini Womela. Hello. And our honorable guest today, Dr. Venisha, joining us direct from Motherland in Mauritius. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for coming up here today.
My pleasure.
All right. Yeah, Doctor, when you look at the education system in Africa, many would argue that the education system needs to be changed to reflect the African reality. What is your take on that?
Well, reform, I will just use another word. We call it maybe evolution. Just like human beings have evolved very rapidly with the smart life, evolution must also evolve in that way. You know, our kids are not the same as we were 20 years ago or maybe 15 years ago. There has been this rapid evolution, and our kids are different in a way that the tools that they use are not the same as the tool we were using, right? At our times, during our times, Blackboard was okay. But nowadays, from my point of view, a smart board is more important because this is their reality. Most kids, right? Most kids. So this is how I think that we should adapt to their reality. It is not them who will adapt to us. They will never be able to do that. They are young minds. We have to adapt with them. We have to tell them that, you know, we are here for you. We have a vision for you. And we are here to bring you to that vision. Because as adults, we have the tools and we will make use of it to bring you to us, because we cannot go back to you. You have come to us. So this is why we have to make use of the tool you are using. So if, for example, if we take our Homo sapiens, we are all descendants of Homo sapiens, right? 2 million years ago. So what, in which ways were they learning? They were learning in such a way using just the power of language, because our brain evolved, the Homo sapiens brain evolved in such a way to develop the power of language. But nowadays it is language, yes, but it is more than that. That's why we have to adapt to that reality of our kids to be able to bring them to our vision.
Wow.
Now, Doctor, looking at the education system in the continental level, right? A lot of universities today still use the curriculum that was left by the former colonizers. So how do you then change the minds of young people, or maybe create a new ways or curriculum for the youngsters, like you stated, to learn on the modern way?
Great. So what we have to do is we have to sit to ask the right question to be able to get the right answers. When we can see, it is obvious that these youngsters are not able to adapt to that. So this is why all the scholars, all the experts can sit together. We have great universities in Africa. The Cape Town University is top in Africa, it is the number one. So people from there can come and initiate these type of meetings from other universities and then make a new curriculum, because the colonized version doesn't work anymore.
Right.
We have independent minds. We have independent minds in front of us. So how can we use colonized system? It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah,
this is why we have to encourage scholars to bring together and to trust We have to trust Africans. I am very proud of the Africans. I'm sure you are too.
Absolutely.
Of course we are.
Absolutely.
We are.
That's why we do the show. Yeah.
We are capable of doing it. Let us trust ourselves. Let us trust each other. And then let us build a better Africa.
Yeah.
Great.
Platini, did you want to weigh in?
Yeah, on the curriculum part and the system of education reformation in Africa. Also, a lot of people would argue that we are more theoretical than practical. Like, majority of the stuff we learn in our universities typically don't really put us out there in the job market. We just learn much of theory. Our engineers can't really get practical. So, Dr. Venisha, I would like to ask, how do you think we can better go about this so that we can completely eradicate this problem?
Well, we learn by observing. We learn by practicing. Knowledge has never been power for me. Application of knowledge is, not knowledge itself. These are cliches, and what we are doing, we are just making use of cliches to reflect reality, but it will never reflect reality because cliches are good for books and reality is something else. So what we have to do is we have to go to the students and invite the students. We as educators, as teachers, as guides, we have to go and tell the students, we have a firm out there doing this type of engineering. Go and have a look at it. Discover it. If you think that, yes, you will be passionate by doing this, then choose that subject. Else change. There is nothing wrong in changing your course of life, right? But it has to be when they are very young, when they are, choosing their subjects at the age of 15. So they are so young, so full of vision, full of enthusiasm at this age, right? So this is the age when they have to be brought to these areas, to these places, to be able to discover what it means. Because as professional, you will not sit and write and, blackens your copybooks. You will never do this. You will practice all that you have learned. So this is why we have all together to give that vision to our students and to tell them, come, let us discover it. But it is the full responsibilities of adults. We cannot be running from our responsibilities. Everybody is telling me, kids are not the same nowadays. Well, kids will always remain kids. It is the society which is evolving in a rapid way. And it is the role and the responsibility of the society to cater for the kids, not the kids to cater for the society. We have to cater for them. We have to tell them, the basics still remain the basics. Human values still remains human values. Respect is still respect. And we are here for you. Just take the responsibility to let us guide you. This is how our parents did. They did it in a very bizarre manner, strange manner though, because, there was many things which were tabooed and still are, unfortunately. But to prevent these taboo things and subject to, rob our kids from their innocence, we have to be more equipped ourselves. We have to be prepared that using their smartphones, using their iPhones, they will have easy access to pornography. So what we have to do to prevent that is talk about sex to them first. If we are talking to them, they are aware about it, they will be able to prevent it, right? If you don't know how to drive, how can you prevent an accident?
So, all right, Doctor, in the grand scheme of things, when we look at the advanced system of education, like the advanced part, when we get to like the after high school part system of education in Africa, do you really think it's about time we really stop with the theoretical part of it, like the level at which we are investing in the theory It's too. Do you think it's too much that we should deviate a little bit and start being more practical? Like have our engineers start getting in the habit of like actually constructing, and our doctors get in the habit of hanging around the hospitals and learning practicals, so that when they get out here, they can actually compete with the rest of the world.
Right.
Yes, of course, because our system, let us be bold and say, Platini, our system is outdated, right?
It's very much.
I agree.
Okay, we are saying it is outdated.
Outdated.
It is outdated. We all agree on that.
That's
100%.
Yes, we all agree on that. So it is not the fact of having universities, it doesn't stop here. Our responsibility doesn't stop here. No. Our responsibility is about building responsible Africans of tomorrow. And to build responsible Africans of tomorrow, the system needs a real evolution. I want to say change, because education at the end remains education, right?
Yeah.
It just needs an evolution. We need to evolve. We are aping everything which is bad from America. So why not aping things that are good from them?
Right. I don't know why we just don't do that. Yes, Mr. Jampo. I don't know why we don't do that. We take everything that is bad from the West, but we never take anything that is good from the West.
That's true. Yeah. That's a fact. Now, you said about responsibility. Do you think politicians have responsibility in the education system in Africa to change the policies? You know, ministers of we have all these ministers of education, ministers of health,
ministers of higher education, basic education.
What do they really do to make a difference?
I agree with you, but we have to start from scratch. We don't change the higher. You have to change the scratch. The foundation of education must be evolved, right? It is not by changing universities that education will change. It is by changing the pre-primary education.
Mm-hmm.
But the system itself has to change. It starts from higher up. The elected officials are the ones making the rules
that are in place.
Like the ministers of education. It starts from them, and then it goes to the teachers, and then the classroom.
They are the ones that could change a lot in education.
Of course, politicians, our ministers, our presidents, all respectful honorables that we have.
Oh, I like to call them the horribles.
Yes, they are honorables. People have voted for them. Mm-hmm. We have trusted them. Our trust are in them, right? So this decision should not be only for them. They are the one who will sign it. But the decision should be from those who are working directly with the kids. First of all, the educators. And then the kids themselves, we have to ask them, you're not adapting to this. Therefore, in which ways will you adapt? Let us ask them. I can't be bringing fish on the tree and ask them to climb the tree. Does it make sense?
Right.
So we have to ask our kids, you are not being adapted to the blackboards and the chalks. Okay, what do you want? You want that smart board? Okay, let us invest. We have to start by investing in one. One will become two will become three, and then everybody will have, we need a shared vision. A shared vision is important. If we don't have a shared vision that when a society progresses, everybody gains, there won't be any change.
But the government is even at that, if we want to change this, if we want to relate it to the students and the pupils that we have at the lower side of education, right? If we want to relate it to them, to tell us what they want, they are still not responsible for implementing this.
Right. No, the problem is if the teachers don't have the means to provide this smart board to the students, that's where the Minister of Education comes in and say, okay, look, this is outdated. We need the smart boards in the classroom. That's why we're saying it starts from the top. So once they provide that, and then the teacher imply that to the students.
we call it the welfare states, right? Most of our African countries are welfare states or mixed states, right? Mixed states. So this is where their responsibilities start. Because, like I've said, we have trusted them. You and me, we have trusted them. We are not ministers, not yet, maybe very soon. We don't know. Yeah. We don't know about life, right? But we have trusted them for the time being. And as far as these decisions are concerned, it has to be policy decisions. It has to be from the higher places, you know, because when they take the decision, we will implement it for sure. This is why, this is what you're trying to say. Definitely, definitely, we have to take these decisions. And before trying to match with Europe and America, we have to make use of what we have here in Africa. We are the best in as far as mass of land is concerned. Right, Africa is home. You yourself, you have put it, and I've read so much about it on your platform, and I'm so much blessed that I've been able to get this type of knowledge thanks to you. Thank you, because you are educating people. You are here for change, and I can say that you gentlemen, you are the hope for tomorrow. If we can have you in Africa,
thank you.
Then Africa is blessed.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Doctor, when you look at the engineers in Africa, we produce more than thousands of engineers. Now, when you look at the infrastructure are being built by the multinationals, be it the Chinese, the Americans. So the question then is, do we not trust our engineers, or what is the problem? Or is it because of low training?
Like I've said, you know what has happened to Africa? I won't like cry on split milk, but what has happened in Africa is, unfortunately, the neo-colonialism. Unfortunately,
Colonial mindset.
Worse than colonialism. They have colonized our mind. And according to psychology, it takes about 50 to 75 years to not even eradicate, but to diminish it, to lower the impact of neo-colonialism. This is what Africa is suffering as a whole. We trust others than our own people. But like I've said, if we can trust each other now, you're trusting me and I'm trusting you, it means the change has started. It means there's still hope. It means that it must start with one person, and one person will bring that massive change, because one person becomes two multiplied 4, and it just doubles, right? It will take time. It will take time, because just like colonization has taken time, we don't change generations of mindset in a day, but we can start with a day, right? And then we are looking forward positively to that. And I really hope in 25 years of time, we want to be even needing other engineers from other continents to lead us. They can come and collaborate with us, but not lead us.
Yes. Now then, do you think, since we don't have good education system in the continent, do you think then it's appropriate for African students to seek better education elsewhere, outside of Africa?
No, like I've said, we have very good education in Cape Town, in South Africa, in Cameroon, I'm sure, in Mauritius, our degrees are recognized around the world, right? Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, Africans are taking time to change, and the world is not waiting for us, right? We are changing, but in a very slow way. And this evolution is very much too rapid. So we have to speed up. Let us speed up. Let us trust. It is the trust that we can provide food ourselves, that we don't need, to import food, because we are surrounded by the sea. Mauritius is surrounded by the sea, by the Indian Ocean. Therefore, we can provide our food. We have mass of land where we can cultivate. We can provide our own food. So why are we encouraging multinationals? It is because at a point of time, decisions which have been taken, I think 30 years ago, when multinationals started to be, invading Africa, it is a decision that we have taken 35 years ago that we are now we are just having all the results nowadays, and unfortunately not the best ones. So it is time to change now. Let us change. Let us change. Be the change we want to see in others. Let us be the change, and we are being the change so proudly.
Yeah, it's the colonial mindset,
Yes,
Like
it is the colonial mindset. And what is still funny is, even if we have evolved so much, when we see white people, we say, hey, they are whites, and it is just in the genes, in the brain, it is like this. Therefore, there is a term that we use in psychology, is epigenetics. Epigenetics is a new word. What epigenetics means is going beyond your genes. It is that part in the brain that we have to, ring it and say, no, this mind was serving my ancestors. Good for them. It is not serving me anymore. So let me change it, because I have the power to change my mind. Every individual has this power. We have to empower our youth to change their minds, to see beauty in themselves first, and then to be able to see beauty around them, not elsewhere. Why should we go to Europe? Grass is not greener elsewhere. Grass is greener where you water it. So water it in Africa, and you will get the best type of grass. You won't need to move. Why do we need to move? We don't need to move. I am born and brought up in Mauritius. I am based in Mauritius now. Why? Because I have trusted my country. I have trusted myself first. When you look at Mauritius even on the African map, you're just a dot, right?
Right.
But if I didn't have the vision and say to myself, I won't be able to be noticed by others, would I be in the top 9 among teachers today? The answer is no. It is because it has started with me, that belief that no, I can still make it. I am as determined as this drop of water which will fill a lake one day, because many drops will come in. And this is why I am here. This is why I have traveled 15 countries till now in nearly 20 years of career, sharing knowledge, imparting knowledge. Why? Because somewhere I had a vision. I believe in going better than my genes. I said to myself, not because I'm colored, I'm Indian born, that I won't be able to make my voice heard. No. It is, of course, it is the basic knowledge that I got from the government of Mauritius. I am a product of governmental education. I've not been in private schools, never. My pre-primary, my primary, my secondary, even my tertiary, first degree education is from the government of Mauritius, right? Free education. Education is free in Mauritius. We have international Cambridge certificate for free in Mauritius. This is how my country is really a true welfare economy. And I'm really proud of this, that my country has been able to give me the basics. And yes, I've built on my own, but a welfare economy gives you the basics, and it's our responsibility to build on that. I just cannot say, my country should give me everything. No, I will be lazy if everything is given to me. Just like Platini, you just, you went to take your water. Why? No. Why you went to take your water? Because you were thirsty. So I am thirsty for knowledge. I know that there is water over there. I go and take it, right? Yeah. So this is how the mindset should be. This is how we should empower our kids. We should tell them, make the right choice. I will be giving you the basics, how to read, write, and count. And it's up to you now to build up on that. You need to build up yourself, right? I'll give you the basics. Everybody gives the basic. We can't be giving everything. We'll be lazy. And this is, I think, what is happening in many countries, that kids are becoming lazy because we are giving them too much. They shouldn't be given too much. You are hungry, go and take it.
Right.
Did
you want to jump in?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in. I just wanted to apologize to Dr. Vanisha and to you, of course, Jean-Paul. I just got a little bit sick, so I had to step out for a second. So
that's okay.
And to all of our audience, I really want to apologize for that.
Apologizing, it's not. It's okay, but it has not bothered me even a little bit.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for understanding.
This example to tell you that when you're sick, when you're feeling sick, when you're not feeling at ease, you move, right? It is same for education. You have to be so thirsty for knowledge that you go and you get it yourself. Government give us the basics. I am so grateful about that.
Well, another thing too about that, Doctor, is a lot of youths now, especially back in Cameroon, when I'm talking to a lot of my friends, when I ask them like, how is school, they always just make statements like, what is that? That one self, which basically is they're giving up on education because they feel so neglected after they put in all this work, spend all this money to get higher education, and then after graduations, no jobs for them.
That is they
don't want to get back. They don't want to acquire more education.
And the frustrating part is that we all just graduate, be engineers, being doctors, they're not getting the job in Africa, but the heads of the states are hiring the multinationals.
Yeah, they're bringing people.
They're bringing people who are taking jobs. Then
jobs from them.
This? How do you then suggest we change this narrative?
It's okay. I mean, it's very much we want to promote people to be eager for knowledge. But when you go get this knowledge and it can't serve you no good, your community no good, or your family no good, it was pointless to begin with.
Right.
Those are years wasted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you ask a typical student who's studying business management in a university in Africa, right? They will tell you they are teaching them about, let's say, credit cards, how Visa or MasterCards works. That will do no good for him or her in Africa because that's a Western system. They should teach them what reflects the African reality.
Absolutely.
We have M-Pesa transferring money. We have all these that's what they should teach them so they can apply that in the society in Africa. Because whatever they're teaching them in the classroom, it doesn't reflect the reality of Africa.
It's more of European reality.
Exactly.
And you see someone majoring in history, they are learning about French Revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like you say, Portugal or Italy. It doesn't reflect African reality. So
they don't know about Mansa Musa. They don't hear about King Leopold.
Right.
It's not even in our curriculums in a lot of schools. Nobody knows about King Leopold and the massacre he committed in Congo.
Right.
Things like that.
Right. So then how do we change this narrative that, we need our teachers, our professors to teach us what we can use in an African society. So then how do we go about that?
Yes. The mindset has to change. Like I've said, the mindset has to change because, when you're telling me all these, Africa has a very rich culture. One of the most ancient cultures, Egyptian culture, it's very ancient culture. So we have to come forward and tell people that this needs to change. We need to teach our people our history first, not the history of America, not the history of Europe. This won't change anything in my life. So this is what we have to discuss. This is what we have to, when this is imposed on us, we have to ask the question why. And when that question is asked, then it will trigger. Because if we sit quietly and don't ask, it will never trigger, because they are not even aware of it. We have to create this awareness that this is not appropriate for us.
Right.
We have to, like I've said from the beginning, the right questions should be asked to get the right answers. And when we get the right answers, it is where we act.
Absolutely.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So then, how do we then go about it? How do we start to change the conversation in the classroom and say, hey, look, we have infrastructure deficit in Africa. We need to teach our students how they can make that difference in the community. Instead of teaching them something that's, like he was saying, theoretical, we need practical.
We need more practical
trainings.
So how do we go about that in the classroom?
Like I've said, we have to take the kids outside the classroom. Right? Literacy and numeracy is in the classroom, but life happens outside the classroom.
There you go.
Well,
Okay, so this is why I am doing it myself. If you can see the video I made for the African Union, is I take my kids out at school, I take them out from school and teach them the survival skills.
They need that.
That's exactly what we need.
Do we ask for rest in Africa? We don't.
Right.
The world is happening outside, not in the classroom.
Yes.
No. Literacy and numeracy, okay, it's inside the classroom.
In the classroom, but practical
not
outside the
100%.
classroom.
But education happens outside the classroom.
Absolutely. So more practical.
Yeah, we have
Right.
to get more
Right.
practical.
We need more practical.
I am so in admiration when I see our ancestors from Africa, the tribes using, all these weapons to kill the animals, because they knew the survival skills. Where are these gone?
Right.
We have to change. We have to go back to our roots. Going back to our roots will keep us grounded. And when we are grounded, we will be able to fly higher. Because the symbolism I use is to be like a bird. We are earthborn, but airbound.
One thing I've analyzed is that Africa need to realize one thing, when the colonizers left, they left a system that functioned only for them. For instance, education is one of them. So now when we go to school, we learn from the system that they left. We can't imply that in our society because we have different systems. So then what end up happening is that we go abroad, like me and Platini are here.
Absolutely.
Because we can't use our skills in Africa. Nobody will hire us. So then we end up
It's
leaving.
even funny, Mr. Jean-Paul,
Right.
because when I was in school, right, in a university back in Cameroon, I was basically going to school to travel out of the country. That was my goal for going to the university to begin with.
Right.
That at some point I want to leave the country. I never sat for once and I was like, okay, maybe I could acquire this knowledge, go back to my tribe.
We won't.
And help them out.
Right.
I never thought of that.
Because there is no opportunity for us. When you graduate, like you said, we have degrees and all that. There is no opportunity. So what end up happening? We go abroad. And what happens in Africa? Africa remains underdeveloped because the brains that is supposed to develop Africa are in the diaspora.
Most of them are already in the diaspora.
It's not our fault because our leaders are not providing the opportunities for us. Like we said, there are more Nigerian doctors here than there in the entire country, Nigeria. No, it's true, doctor. It's true.
It's very much true, doctor.
And if you see a typical African president, when they get sick, where do they go for
They
treatment?
run. They go straight to Switzerland.
Switzerland, Europe. Why?
They run.
You see that? So
They don't trust their own doctors back home.
it's trust. We don't trust,
It's
like
even,
you say.
it's even funny because the president of my country owns one of the biggest hospitals in Germany. Make it make sense.
Right. Make it make sense. Exactly.
Make that make sense to me.
So
how the
how is that hospital helping
Commander-in-Chief
people
in
in
Cameroon owns one of the biggest hospitals in Germany? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's the problem.
People don't get sick in Cameroon. Everybody is running out. And again, like I always say, all of this starts with education.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if the economy is bad. Everything starts with the education of the people.
Like,
if we can't emancipate our minds, we're not gonna get anywhere.
Yes, we have to change our mindset, because a typical African believes what's Western is better. What's African, and we need to change that narrative. Yes.
That's not true.
That is not true, but that's the reality on the ground.
We are very much proud, the Africans. Therefore, we are changing.
We have to change. And then that change begins in the classroom, at the dinner table.
Absolutely.
You know?
When they see made in Aba, everybody runs. But when they see made in USA, they don't even care if it's good quality or not. But if they see made in Kumasi, nobody wants to touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to change that, and that change begins in the classroom. And then we make our children believe that, you know what? You are the future of Africa. You will be the next leader of Africa. And then we have to teach them and train them as so. Because we can't keep going like this.
And also give them the opportunity when they leave school.
This generation is a different generation.
We cannot.
You know what happened when the whites, Europeans left Africa? They left us with no other choice. It was, pre-planned that Africa is doomed because we have already robbed them from their common sense.
Right. No, I mean, they robbed us from everything, from our brains, our natural resources,
our beliefs.
Exactly. Everything. They made us believe everything.
If you want to destroy,
including our common sense, including our way of seeing things, including our mindset. Why? Because they just wanted, I won't blame Europeans nowadays, but history bears witness that at certain point of time, they did rob us from everything for their own gains.
Yes.
And what are we doing now? We are encouraging this. We have to stop this because we have the power to stop it, not other people. The Europeans won't stop it. We can't ask them, stop exploitation.
No,
they won't stop
it. They won't stop it.
No, we have to say, enough is enough. So it is not possible. Look, for example, look at me now. We are in 2022. You have a lady speaking about education. Can you imagine the evolution in Africa? We didn't have the right to vote at a certain point of time. Yes. Today, I'm here in front of you talking about education. This is Africa. This is the evolution. This is the evolution. But some people are refusing to see it. But the evolution has happened. We are just refusing to see it. Right? This is how we have evolved in Africa. That I'm able to travel alone. I will be traveling in 3-4 days to South Africa in 3-4 days alone with other male colleagues, not with my husband, not with my kids. This is how the mindset has evolved. But we are not putting it forward. We are just, marketing the doom and gloom. We have to start marketing.
Honestly, if you want to destroy people, just control what they think.
That's what the Europeans
If you can tell them that your God is bad, your food is bad,
right?
The way you rule
think
is
the
bad.
way
if you can control what they think,
it's a colonial mindset that they did to us. They brainwash
the brain to empower. And we have, whenever they are saying it's bad, we just say, no, it's bad for you. Right. But it's our way of being.
For instance, look at the governance system that they left, right? So-called democracy.
The so-called democracy.
The limitation of terms, the periodic election or whatever their definition is. Back in Africa, we had kingdom systems where we had kings and queens.
The monarch.
The monarch.
We had the monarch system.
That ruled the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
They brought the democracy to us. Let me give you an example. Look at Rwanda today. We all know the genocide of 1994.
Absolutely.
What happened,
that was pretty,
right? That
just
country
yesterday.
was down. That's nothing. Go to Rwanda today.
Go and see what,
Right?
bro.
Technology.
Rwanda is Sun
cleanest
City.
you know? But many are arguing that Kagame has stayed for long, but he's doing a good thing for his country. Should we vote him out? Even though he's doing a good thing?
Should we vote him out?
The West were telling us that.
They're telling us
that's
that.
Not democracy.
Get him out.
That's not democracy. But he's doing good.
He's doing good. So you look at system like that, right? The governing system, right? You can see contradiction between democracy and the monarch right there in Africa. Because in my country, even though we have a president in Cameroon, we have kings. And trust me, if the king of Nzo, my tribe, tells us, stand here, and the president say move, we will stand. I would stand. That's my king.
Yeah.
We will stand. I don't care what France did with the president. That is their own thing. But if he says move, we will not move. So that's there. And the king stays in power till he dies.
Right.
Nobody is complaining as long as he is saving his people right.
Right.
So why did we have to let the West invade Libya?
Colonial mindset.
Why did we have to let the West invade Libya and capture one of the greatest presidents that we are trying to look out for Africa like Gaddafi? Colonial mindset.
Yes. It's the system that they said.
There is one thing that I would like to add here is, the past cannot be changed.
Mm-hmm.
The past is history.
It's history.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's history. What we have to change is we change now for a better future.
Yes.
And this is what we are doing. I am sure that like I've said, in 25 years' time, Africa will not rule. We won't be able in 25 years' time to beat America, but I am sure in 50 years' time, we will be able to do it. Because if we trust now,
we'll be out there, we're getting up.
Now, right? We can just, use our resources to trade within Africa, right? Like South Africa has the best beef meat, I know. So we can import from them. Why should we import from other countries?
Good question.
We have to trust that our system of agriculture, our herbal medicine naturally heals ourselves. First of all, our body heals ourselves. Our body, the human body, is designed to heal itself. This is true because, for example, when you're cutting a tomato, right? What happened? You've cut your finger, you stop cutting your tomato and run for medicine? No, we just ignore it when we continue to cut the tomato. Does the finger heal? Yes, it does. How? Because the brain is working, the body is working, our immunity is working. So this is how the human body and human mind functions. It is designed to heal itself. And then we give it a booster dose, not the vaccine, but a booster dose from natural ingredients, from plants, from vegetables, right? For example, the moringa, Europeans are saying miracle food. Moringa has been around in Africa for not even decades, for centuries. But they are the one who are telling us, moringa is good. Moringa is, I think, four plants in my yard, and I use it. It is a miracle food, not because America is telling it is a miracle food. No, it is a miracle food because it is a miracle food, not because of their words.
Mm-hmm. But the way our mindset works is we know it, but we wait for them to tell us.
Yeah.
That's how the African mind works.
So here's a typical example, right? When the colonials came to our countries, they told us what's ours, it's bad. They told us don't worship the idols.
The deities.
But they took them and put them in their museums.
Somewhere in England.
We pay to watch our own artifacts. So we have to change our mindsets. It begins here. And then in the classroom, the basics.
It starts with education, everything.
When I have you two in front of me, I can see two handsome gentlemen having a vision in front of me. And I admire you for that. This is I that have chosen to say this. I have made that choice to trust my people.
Thank you.
So the trust must be in each other. The trust must be in ourselves. Like I could have said, these youngsters, they don't know what they are saying. I won't go on their platform. No, why? I trust you. Because I made the choice to trust. At least you are doing things. At least if we can't trust each other, how can others trust us?
Makes sense. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. And just lastly, you raised a very good point about trading. I don't know if you're aware about the intercontinental trading area that the African Union, is it implemented yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah,
it is in the vision. I was saying this the last time. We have a vision of the African Union. It is the Vision 2063.
Oh, the 2063, the Africa we want.
They are still working on that.
Yes.
They are still working on that, yes.
Okay, so I thought it was implemented because
No.
Okay. Well, Doctor, thank you
so much, Doctor,
for your
thank you.
time, and thank you so much for trusting us and talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope I hope we'll have you. Yeah, I hope we'll have you again next time for next conversation.
It will be a pleasure. It will be a pleasure, and it will be. I must say, let me go to Ghana first. Meet all the Africans there. Okay. Right? It will be a great meeting of the African countries as far as education system in Africa is concerned. Mm-hmm. So after that, for sure, I'll come back and tell you what are the decisions that have been taken.
Okay. We'll really be looking forward to that.
We'll be honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.